Clash Clans podcast, special episode number 30. And I'm back. This episode with the one and only, the ever elusive Sasquatch. Man in the trees. Is he or isn't he? Where is he at? Welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so Sasquatch, you have been, there's a few things, because you've been in House of L for a long time.
Yes.
Do you remember when you joined?
Yeah, right away. I was actually, when I jumped over, I was number 7.
Okay, because I don't remember the clan without you. That's why I was wondering. And then you were also around with House of Zod as Loch Ness.
Yeah, actually I came over to L as Loch Ness.
Okay.
I think I got 1, maybe 2 wars in with Zod, and you guys you and Boneyard got, kind of like, hey, there's not enough room here anymore. He wanted to drive the bus. You really needed your own space.
Well, I said this to him the other night. I said, because at first I just said, you know what, I'm going to hand you leader because I don't want to be responsible for you. Because he just sounds so bad when in text. Mm-hmm. When he's texting, he just sounds so bad. Because he texts exactly like he talks. And I said that to him. I'm just like, And so at that point it was getting bigger, and I thought, well, if there's a Zod, doesn't there have to be an L? And
right.
Yeah, so we started up, and so were you in both, like at the same time?
No, I was not in both at the same time. I had Sasquatch in one of the Reddit clans at that time.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And Loch Ness I had brought over to Zod. So
okay, I remember that. Like, I remember you talking about your main account in some other clan. And now you are in L with Sasquatch, and you are in SOAS with Loch Ness.
Yes.
And why the mysterious creatures?
Actually, that's how I started listening to podcasts in the first place.
Really?
I don't know. I'm really into like the whole, the monster shows and all that stuff, and what's lurking in the darkness, what's in the ocean that people can't see, and it's just the mysterious thing is just really neat. And I listened to a whole bunch of the podcasts on Bigfoot, and that's something else to talk about later. That's okay. Just a crazy.
I know. I just want to actually just go down that path, but we can bring it back to, because it's interesting to me too. I just always thought, would they keep going if they found Bigfoot on that show, Finding Bigfoot?
Well, the Finding Bigfoot show is actually just it's just a comedy relief for the actual the Bigfoot people out there. Yeah, those guys aren't really ever going to find anything. It's just there for the entertainment value.
Especially with a big camera crew, probably.
Oh, yeah. There's 17 people running around in the woods yelling and shooting fireworks. And
we're going to go wait up here while you walk into this clearing.
Exactly.
Okay. So now I talked to your brother last night. Mm-hmm. And tell me if this is correct. So, okay. How long have you been playing? This is what he told me is a follow-up question.
Okay.
And it's not a bad thing. Don't worry. It's
okay.
So how long have you been playing?
I've been playing since January of 2013.
Okay. So 2 years, over 2 years.
Over 2 years now.
So Sasquatch is 2 years. How old is Loch Ness?
Loch Ness is getting really close to 2 years.
Okay. So you did it close to each other.
Yeah, I took Sasquatch like everybody else does. I've raced him up to a Town Hall 8, and then I just pulled back on the reins, and I just, took a step back. I was like, wow, I have wooden walls, and I have level 4 cannons, and, it's really hard to farm right here.
So did it take a while to catch up?
Yeah, it took me just over a year to max out my Town Hall 8 for Sasquatch. Wow.
You know, I was thinking back to it today because lately on the podcast, I've been doing different interviews with people, and they will ask about something, or we'll be talking about heroes, and I've been wondering why my heroes aren't way higher, at this point. But I remember some of the first base picks that I took when I started the podcast. I was a TH8, and I think back to all those and the rushing and all those changes. So the game has changed a lot.
It has changed so much since we started.
What do you think's the biggest difference?
Right now, probably the way the heroes are anchored. That's changed a lot, especially for war. Besides the actual war aspect, but that was just they had to go to war,
right?
Otherwise, everybody was just going to get burnt out. Yeah.
So you think the hero anchoring is one of the biggest changes?
Yeah, it's like almost step number one, or at least number two of what most of the attacks out there right now.
Did that change initially? So initially, heroes weren't anchored. They just had their bubbles were about the same, but once you caught their attention, it was like a clan castle.
Yeah, all it took was a barbarian to get out there, or anything to just trigger him and put that little exclamation point above their head, and then you could take them anywhere you wanted.
Do you think the queen was smarter back then?
Oh. Yeah, had to have been.
I know.
And I kind of feel the same way about the wall breakers, too.
That they just went straight in.
Yeah. Like, you knew where they were going, even though, I don't know.
I think Mailman called this, and I think this would be, honestly, the best troop AI upgrade would be to have, and this is when we went to our nerd out dinner in the cities.
Yeah, that would have been fun to go to.
Oh, my God. It was like the nerdiest time you could ever imagine. But I think he made the perfect point in that wall breakers should explode when they're killed. No matter where they're at. If they're running because they've got a lit bomb, they explode.
Yeah. How come a golem, which is just a rock, can explode?
Yeah.
But a wall breaker that's carrying the bomb doesn't.
Right. A lit bomb. He goes, what are they shooting them with? With wet arrows?
Right. Are they just knocking the wick off of that bomb, or what?
I don't know what's going on. So I think that would be a good change. But yeah, don't you remember when the bombers were like straight in?
They had the buttress walls. Everybody was running buttress walls, the little stick out little juts of walls, just like a three wall section that was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That would stop wall breakers from coming in just for that reason right there.
Oh my God. It's like flashback central, because I'm just thinking, like, man, if you could go back and take your base picks of like the early days in Clash, how they would be different or how they'd hold up. But now it's like, it would be a moot point. I guess where I was coming to, and we can reminisce on this all we want, because I had totally forgotten about that. Totally. Your brother told me you've never bought gems in the game.
I have not. I have not spent any money. And it's not really that the game isn't worthy of buying it, but it's just one of those things. It's almost like
the challenge.
It's exactly. It is definitely a challenge to try and do something that everybody else spends so much money on, and I guess the One Hive just got done with some sort of a huge war where a whole bunch of people spent a bunch of money, and I haven't put a dime into this thing yet.
I heard it was, what was it?
I saw like 16 grand.
Yeah, 16 grand on one war.
Yeah.
Because people gemmed up their troops. It was the Clash Heads war. Somebody was hunting them. They got matched up. And somebody was twitching the war, and they had a count of how much money was spent during that war. Mm-hmm. And it went into the 15, 16 grand on one side and in double digits on the other side. I don't know which side was which, but
yeah,
I can't imagine a war like that in hell. Like, I feel like, oh, that was my phone.
it's okay. We hear it all the time on the podcast. It's fine.
I felt bad. Like Mighty Buzzard woke up as king early because we were in a tough war. Mm-hmm. And like, oh man, that's a lot of gems to wake him up. I mean, $10 at the absolute, maximum now, I think, after a week, but still. So how do you play?
You just learn to do it without them.
So what's a typical day? Do you get in a few raids? You're Town Hall 9 at Sasquatch.
Yep. I wake up in the morning, start brushing my teeth, go in there, and I'll raid. And really right now, at Sasquatch, I'm just trying to bow as my base. And Sasquatch, I'm going to take to level 10 walls, and I'm going to take to level 30 heroes before I jump to 10.
Okay.
So, and then with that one, so I'll just jump on. I'll break my shield. Doesn't matter. I'll go in and Loonian somebody and try and get 1,500 plus Dark Elixir, and then I'll bounce out, load everything back up again, whatever spells I used, or hopefully I didn't use any spells. But at that point in the game, it doesn't matter because I'm burning Elixir. I'm just putting whatever I get into walls whenever I need it.
Okay. So. Oh, yeah, because if you're so you're max T8, you don't need any more Elixir. Your troops are maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you look for where are you shopping at, or where are you rating at when you're looking for?
Right now, I've dropped down a little bit. I need to come back up. I need to get back into Crystal 1 at least. But right now, I'm in. I think I'm in the top of Crystal 2. I'm at right under 2,400 cups right now, I think.
And do you have your TH inside?
No, it's outside. Okay. And as soon as I get raided, or as soon as I log off, I get raided within 2 minutes tops, and that happens all the time. So as soon as I attack, I might get 2 stars. Maybe I get 1. Maybe it's a really bad one. It's an epic fail because I try and get a Town Hall 10, and it does Infernal Towers. I just can't hold up against them if I don't have the right spell composition.
Because you don't have freeze.
Right, you don't have freeze. And then I'm packing 2 rage, 1 heal, and a lightning. So, and the heal is basically worthless against Inferno Towers.
Except if here's what I've been learning about that, just as a side note. If you go in on a far point and heal them before they even get close to the Inferno Towers, so that way they're, because I've been using Giants and Velks.
Right.
If I can, I'll farm now with the pig dogs. But if I can send in Giants and Velks on certain attacks, I can heal them before they even get close to the Inferno Tower, so they're ready.
Mm-hmm. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because some of those bases are structured really weird, where the Inferno Towers are far away.
Right.
But okay, so sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine.
So, so once you get attacked, how long does it? Do you just wait till all of your spells are ready?
Yeah, right now we're a little slow at work, but yeah, I'll wait till everything's ready. I won't boost anything, and it takes 64 minutes for a total refill of your balloons. I'm going 32 loons and then 30 minions.
Wow.
So, I mean, it takes 64 minutes, no boosting.
It's so different to hear about your farming attacks versus your war attacks.
Because, I don't loon at all in war.
Yeah, because you go in and you do some really cool strategy attacks, and we can kind of get into that. But are you hoarding gems?
No, I wish I was.
Can you imagine?
Actually, we had one close war. What was it? Probably 2 weeks ago. So maybe 4 or 5 wars ago, where I wound up burning It was at the end of the war. I think I woke up my king, and I was going to hit one base. I had an army prep for it. I logged off, had dinner, came back on. Somebody had attacked the base and 3-starred it. So then I had to trash the army totally.
Oh, man.
And it was down to like 45 minutes or less. And I hurried up, boosted everything I could, got to the end, got to the last 10 minutes, and somebody else attacked the next base I was going to do.
Oh, shit.
Within 5 minutes, I had to dump a whole bunch. No, you usually attack a little higher. I don't remember. Bazinga does get in there and steal some of the stuff I'm wanting, but that's all right. It happens.
You guys have, like, when I think of, like, our TH9s, you guys kind of, Mystic and Bazinga, you know, kind of all, like, we count on you guys to, like, come in and do your shit, you know?
Yeah.
And I even said, like, the other night, like, you said, somebody asked why you're attacking late, and Boneyard asked about that today, too. But it's because, like, and I remember when when we were early wars, it was like, the TH9 was like, well, we just count on him to come in and do his shit, you know, right at the end, or, and usually you've got it prepped for a certain base and you just show up, go in and smash some shit.
Yeah, I like to. I'd like to think I could do that anytime I want. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think there is some sort of a value in holding back, you know, a handful of attacks for the very end. And if there's a chance, I know Phantom Warlord, you know, Matt does it often with his big account.
Right.
You know, and he's in there. He holds them both back to the end, races through, gems them up real quick at the end. And I think there's something to that because, you know, if you're the opponent and you're looking over there, you're trying to do the same thing we are, is count up who still has attacks left on the other side, who doesn't, who's going to do it, you know, who probably isn't going to do it.
Who's going for a 2, who's going for a 1.
And then you start to throw away attacks that you possibly could use, you know, to value something else.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's not worth it as much probably anymore because we have so many Town Hall 10s that could do the same thing. But I know my attack, I'm number 12 on the list now. And for the longest time, my Town Hall 9 was like number 6 that we had.
Oh, yeah.
We've grown exponentially in the top end of our clan over the last at least month and a half. We've gotten really top heavy from where we were.
I suppose it kind of creeps up on you.
It does. Like I got into one more and I looked at myself on there. I was like, shit, I'm number 10. Damn, I'm falling down this list. And then I looked above me and I'm still the top Town Hall 9, but all the Town Hall 10s are in front of me now, and there's really nothing I could do. So,
do you ever think about going for the TH10s? But
there's times we used to do it. Myself and Mystic and Snowtop had just gone to a Town Hall 10 the first time everybody left for the push.
Oh.
Whenever I was leading the clan then, when you took off real quick, hey, gotta go, Sasquatch, your leader. All right, got it, I'm out.
Yep.
And that was basically what happened, and I was fine with it. I'm good with that. But we had the top guys up there then, we had to attack Town Hall 10s.
Well, you guys did a really good strategy, too, of, like, not worrying about the troop levels, like in each of the CCs.
Right.
You know, the Town Hall 9 troops, and other people had talked about that, too, about how, I think Boaz was saying, like, it doesn't necessarily mean win or lose.
Yeah. I mean, have you looked on the stats on a level 5 wizard compared to a level 6 wizard?
It's probably not that great, is it?
Especially on the wizard, they're really not that much. I think the wizard level 6 gains like 20 more damage per second or something, but
Jesus,
that's it.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not much. I think they only gain like 20 more hit points also.
It's just they look so much cooler.
They look so much cooler with the maroon wardrobe and the glittery sash.
And the fucking fireballs. Just
it's a huge fireball. I don't know where he gets that from, but
I know. Have you ever had one of those wizards that is shooting blanks?
Oh yeah. Used to happen all the time.
Isn't that crazy?
I think it's an indecisive thing. Like they're queuing up on one troop or, something they're going to hit, and then they rear back, and then it's gone. Like, you can see a Pika do the same thing. Like, his sword comes up, and then a wizard comes over and zaps the building underneath his sword, and he's like, damn it. And then I got to move to the next target.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, that happens all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not just the wizard, but I think it's more noticeable with the wizard and with the Pika because they don't attack real fast. They load up their hit before they do it. You know what I mean? So the Pika stands there for a second or a second and a half, and then he lifts his sword, and then he drops it. That's when you notice it. So really, you're wasting, 3 seconds, basically.
Yeah, before they like a split second right before they are going for it, split second afterwards, and then that's shot them for 3 seconds.
Yeah, see, that's kind of I don't understand when everybody does a go wipe, especially at a Town Hall 10. I know you get the max Pekkas and everything.
I still haven't done a go wipe.
You still haven't?
No. I finally got my Pekkas up, and I just can't.
You got a huge Pekka sitting there that you should just throw it around and see what happens. Yeah, just do something with it.
Toss it in that base.
Knock some walls around, see what happens. But no, I mean, if you drop all 3 of your Pekkas at the same time, then, all 3 of them go for the same thing. And if they all 3 go for the same, the same barracks on the outside of a wall, they all 3 take one swing at it. The first one hits it, and the other 2 are just shooting blanks. Wow. So personally, I don't see why you would want to, why everybody tries to group their Pekkas up.
That's and I think that's part of why I haven't used it, is because I haven't seen a really good Pekka attack in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically, you are starting a new term, the 2 impotent Pekkas.
There you go, with 2 exactly, and they don't do anything. And then you stick them on a clan castle, troop area. Oh, you're just wasting stuff then.
Wow. Okay. So what you're saying is how would you release them differently then in those attacks?
Just in different areas, or even just timingly different. You know what I mean? Just one, and then drop one, and then drop the third one or something like that. So they can target something different. Are you okay? And I guess, and I told you this before we started. How do you prep for attacks? And maybe even part of it, because if you watch Sasquatch attack a base, it is precision, but it's also like tonight's attack. You were trying something a little bit new. Yeah, I had to. My king is still down for another 12 hours or so, and I wasn't going to waste the 300 gems for these eye-modders that we were playing against today.
Oh my god.
I wasn't going to do it.
Most futile last couple hours of war. When I went in on 1, I was like, I want that 1 star. I'm going to just try it. I don't care that much. Like, if I fail, I'm not going to feel like I screwed the clan.
Mm-hmm. And I said that earlier. I said that. I sent a message out on the chat that said, hey, I really think now we've got 9 hours left. We were already down 20. I know we still had plenty of attacks left, but they had us 3-starred, all the way up. Lots of 2 stars. They were just ripping into it.
And they had iMod in their description.
They had iMod, yeah. And they were definitely iModding.
Which was probably one of the most disappointing moments for me in Supercell. Because the Phantom Warlord wrote in and said, screenshotted it and said, here is a blatant people. And he translated the language. And it basically said, yeah, we Xmod, iMod, fuck you.
Right.
And if that can't get the attention of Supercell to ban people, like a dick pic can't, maybe you don't fix your program, but maybe if somebody blasts that out in a clan description, you take a little bit of notice.
I mean, they're basically just trampling all over your game and saying your game is crap.
Yeah.
We're going to play it our way, and that's how we're going to do it.
And
because it doesn't matter what your terms of service say.
Right.
You know.
Here's my term of service.
Yeah, exactly. They can rewrite the terms of service.
Exactly.
Because they can go into the program and rewrite anything they want.
Exactly.
Actually, I have a buddy that has it on his phone, and I'm like, look, dude, you just need to. I don't know. I don't like it. So just whatever.
Well, I don't think any of us would condone it. I know that there's somebody in the clan that has it as a capability, but we'd never send him in for a scout to do it. I mean, we'd rather send Phantom Warlord, and we had pics of the entire base.
Right.
And that kind of brings me. I don't know if you saw this. What I was saying. I said this online tonight. And you haven't heard this because I've been talking about it in a couple episodes lately that haven't aired yet. But I said it would be great to copy the enemy's good bases and watch how they attack them. Mm-hmm. And this war, I had thought about it and I was recording like when we started doing it. But now I thought we had pics of their entire base. Imagine if they would have woken up the next day and we had all of their bases, 10s, 9s, all the way down, exactly identical to their bases. How that would have screwed with them.
That would have been great. Their straight across looks exactly like their base.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be awesome?
What the fuck is going on here?
What? Huh? Are we going to show what? You know, that's the X mod mix up right there. And we kind of missed our chance on that one, but
that's okay. I'm all right with it.
Yeah, it was a very, very, very hard war, but so
yeah,
how do
actually, real quick to go back to that, I was saying that with 9 hours remaining, I was like, look, we just need to. I don't want to say mail it in, but we say the rest of the war is practice, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
and it's almost a psychological thing. You stop worrying about them, and then you just focus on your own attacks, and sometimes you wind up with a better result.
Don't you think that's how the weekend wars were why they're so successful? Sometimes.
Yeah, I do. Especially you're cutting out, I know a lot of times lately you've been cutting out some people, and I get, we tried that 10 on 10, and this last weekend I think we did a 15 on 15?
Yeah.
Or was it a 20 on 20?
No, it was 15 on 15 or something.
Yeah.
And I felt a little bad about it after the fact because we had so many people with heroes down, and in the moment, we kind of said, okay, well, what are we going to do? We come off these hard wars, and then I see Mighty come in and say, oh, wait, I'm not in the war. And I see somebody else come in and say, I'm not in the war. and I feel really bad about it. I'm like, oh shit, people really wanted a war. So, and I was just talking to Dirty Pirate before we started podcasting, and I said, and he was saying, like, yeah, I'm practicing these things, and as Mailman would say, it's in the wild. He's out, doing his attacks. And so we started talking about that, me and somebody else, the player, not like a random person, me and somebody else. Mm-hmm. We're talking about it. And so we just decided, we'll do the weekend wars again.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little bit about the XP was so important right when the clan wars or the clan perks started. Yeah. That the difference between level 2 and level 3 was one war. Like it was getting so close. And now it's like, we've got time.
And there's going to be more time in between each level. Yeah. Because I think we're still 1,000 down or like 955 down from jumping up to level 4.
So you think going back to the Fun War weekend,
or change it up? I like the changing it up type of thing. You took out a whole bunch of big guys this last war, and just to see what happens, to see if anybody does step up. I think that's one way to learn.
This last week,
yeah,
in that war, and And that went. So you think like completely changing up like the matchups in terms of not just everybody go for it, but have a little bit of Town Hall 10s, a little bit of Town Hall 9s, a little bit of Town Hall 8s.
Yeah, a little flexibility in there.
Do you ever want to take off a war? Do you get exhausted?
Me? Sometimes, but I'm up for it all the time.
Because you come in all the time and smash it. And even when you don't smash it, like today, and this is what I actually said to Dirty Pirate also, it's like those precision attacks, like I'm going for that guaranteed 1-star. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, at least I can take the Town Hall. Hopefully I can take the 50. Maybe I can take the 3 if I'm going on a 9.
Yeah.
But the precision attacks like you do, it's kind of an all or nothing thing.
It is. And the way I've been attacking, and I'm not successful, but possibly, if I'm lucky, 50% of the time. I would take 50% in a heartbeat. But you're right. I mean, it's just such a fine line with, those attacks nowadays.
But
I haven't looked at a Town Hall and said, "Oh, I'm going for the Town Hall," in so long.
So
because
what's your
I just don't look for it.
What's your thought process when you're doing that? Because that's
when I first look at them, let's see. I mean, I've got max Town Hall 9 troops. So when I look at a base, I'm looking for double bomb placement possibilities on anyone.
What does that tell you?
It tells you if you can use hogs in that situation, or really it's just hogs.
Okay.
And what that's going to do to a hog, because Town Hall 9, anybody can hog at Town Hall 9 if you got max hogs.
Okay.
And then also you got to look for queen placement, and that's a big one. And then,
what about queen placement? What are you looking at if you see her?
How easily you can get to her,
and what are some strategies you would use to get at her?
Well, most of the time nowadays, especially with the top Town Hall 9s that we're looking at, she's always in the middle, and you're going to have to use a 2 golem placement to try and jump in to kill her. Okay. And that works for your Golaloon. That works for your hogs, because a queen, the opposing queen, if she's still standing at the end of one of those, attempts to take her out, it doesn't matter what you put out there. She's just going to wreck you.
And that was kind of like your attack today.
Yes.
And of all the attacks to bring up, I don't think that's a really good one, but that's just the last one that that I saw of yours. And you had a really good strategy where you sent that Pekka in after her. But
yeah, because I didn't have my king.
Yeah, and
I was gonna go.
It was a good strategy, and like when you see it, you go, "Wow, that could have really worked well."
Yeah, if it could have got to the queen, and I left the queen standing, and she got me. That's just what happens.
It was a great attack. Honestly, like I think it was a beautiful attack. It hinged on a couple things, and that's kind of where I want to keep going. So queen placement. So if she's on the outside, you're more willing to.
Oh, she's on the outside. You are open to any number of possibilities of strategy then, because if she's on the outside, I don't know. I haven't seen a queen on the outside with Sasquatch in a long, long time.
Well, I guess what would be the turn off for you? What turns you off about the queen? No, what would be what would be like okay, I'll avoid this one then.
I'm looking at number 10 here right now. She'd be hard to get to just because there's so many point defenses looking at her that are going to protect her if you tried to go in to get her. So
what do you mean point defenses?
Like the Archer Tower, the cannons, the Expos.
Okay.
So those are the point defenses, not your splash damage. Your mortar and your wizard towers are your splash damage.
Yeah.
And really splash damage to a golem or even a Pekka.
Nothing.
Exactly, nothing. But it's those point defense that really start to chew away at those high HP troops.
Yep. the things that can target that put the 80 or 100 damage per second on one troop.
Right. In 30 seconds, it'll chew through, a 3,000 hit point troop.
Okay. And so what else do you look for? You don't worry about the king then so much.
Oh, I don't even know. I look at the king as much as I look at the town hall. I just don't even care. Because if you have enough troops to get through the defenses, then, the town hall will be the bonus at the end.
Okay.
Because it usually winds up being like that. The town hall usually gets hit, after all of your stuff makes its circle around the base to hit all the defenses. The town hall's still left standing in the middle, and then they slowly walk over, or slowly fly over, and it's like percent number 95, and the town hall finally goes down.
So basically, like, if you're doing your job, you basically conquered the army.
Yes.
And you have time to take the town hall.
That's it. Yeah, you don't even worry about getting the town hall on the first pass through. You're looking at it on the backside. It's almost like deploying the back end balloons.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and I'm kind of thinking about this in some ways, and it's why I keep asking questions about this, because a lot of, like, I think the people that listen are listening at work.
They're listening on the drive.
Listening on the drive. Things
all
like
those mailmen out there.
All those mailmen.
That's
Big
right.
Shout out MM and Mini Mailman now. That, like, you can't see the things in person. What we're talking about, and I think that's kind of where I come from too. Because then, if I'm not looking at it, then how do I do that on a base? Okay, and so now, like, when you go for timing, do you have so if you're going to send loons in,
yeah,
what do you look for? Like, because I've noticed this in attacks, and I'm really not a great attacker, especially after today. I feel like I'm really humbled by it. But if you're looking at, some people can, like you, sometimes just send in like 5 loons, or you send in a few loons at the right spot. What do you look at to get them over a defense or over the defense you want?
Well, you got to see where those air defenses are. Like, I'm looking at number 11 right now, and you could there's 5 or 6 defenses you can pick off with just loons on the outside that aren't ever going to get touched by the air defense. A couple loons for each archer tower. Okay. And that's, and what that does is that's taking off those point defenses again. So then you take off those point defenses, then you drop in your golem and your king to try and get in there to kill that queen. And then they're not taking as much point defense targeting as what they would have prior to you dropping those loons on the outside to get those point defenses. So it saves your main meat shield whenever they try to go into the core to get the queen, so you can finish everything else up with either the lava loons or the hogs.
Huh. I'm just going, wow, I've really screwed up.
I heard a light bulb turn on.
Yeah, I know. It's like, whoa, okay. So you're making sense to me. I'm not looking at the bases. I'm kind of like listening and going, okay, well, the point defenses. So I think that's a awesome point. And I think that's why people have been really excited in the clan, or anybody that I've said that you're like coming on, because if you talk about point defenses versus splash damage is so apparent.
Right.
But point defenses, it could be really parsed out, because then you're talking about, and I got to write this down a little bit. You've got your air defense range.
Yep.
Right. And then you've got archer towers and things you could take off on the outside of that air defense range.
Right. And even cannons, because cannons are going to target your heroes, because eventually, in a war, you're going to drop your heroes sometime.
So what's the biggest mistake that you see people make?
They don't get the queen. That's a huge one.
Well, in terms of defense, do you have? What's the one thing you would avoid at all costs?
Put your queen on the outside.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like in the old days.
And you can't centralize your air defenses anymore. Once you're in a Town Hall 9 situation, you can't centralize all of your air defenses anymore. Because you're ready for a holo.
I just this is kind of a little bit off subject. Well, it's not off subject, but I just did an attack like when after the war tonight. Somebody had their air defenses. I spent $1 million on a Lego out of my elixir because I thought, well, chances are I'm going to get this, and I kind of forgot about it. And I went in after this base that was low-level air defenses and low-level everything, but with a 4 pig dog attack. Mm-hmm. Their air defenses were way out, and I got smashed on that one because my pig dogs went way out. It didn't cover the balloons. And now it all makes sense now that with the point attacks and.
Yeah, like whenever you send your pig dogs in, you want to gain them. You want to target them in a way towards the air defense that's going to draw as much archer tower fire as possible. And wizard tower. Wizard towers are going to wreck a Laloon attack.
Yes,
because they can do damage to multiple balloons at the same time. Okay. So actually, like your defense for a Laloon attack should be, your wizard tower should not be in range of any air defense to protect you against Laloon.
Okay. Okay. Wow. I'm sorry. I'm rethinking everything that I know about this game right now. So because you don't want the pig dogs to be attracted, or you don't want the archer towers to be attracted to the pig dogs.
Right. Yeah. You don't, like, if you're on defense, if your base is getting attacked, you do not want your wizard tower to be shooting the pig dog, because for one, it's a splash damage on that massive amount of hit point troop that's just basically going to nowhere. Or it could be turned just out of range of the air defense, which means it's not shooting the pig dog, and it's shooting all those balloons that's coming in from behind.
Okay. I'm just thinking of my base, and I copied this one from when I was over in SOAS.
Yeah.
And it ate up some attacks, and it seemed like an apparent thing. I did eat up one attack today. It's the first time in forever that's happened. So
that's a win. That's against an iModding clan too. So
yeah, I was very happy. Well, I shouldn't really be that happy. I copied it exactly from somebody else. I mean, I had to guess on a few things, and I moved the skeleton traps into the very interior, close to draw them into the Inferno, and that worked really well. Okay, so move the wizard towers away from the air D.
Yep.
So that, because that's what I look for too when I go in an attack. But at the same time, like, I think as a defensive player, we're kind of, for myself, I'm adjusting.
You should always be adjusting.
Yeah, and I'm always adjusting, but then I go, okay, well, this one didn't quite work. And so I don't think about my defense in terms of, I go, well, I know how I would attack this because I can see everything. Yeah. But on the same vein, I go, well, I don't think somebody's going to get this one, or I've only been attacked this way. So, so you're kind of adjusting to how people perceive it, I guess, maybe on your defensive basis. But what would you say? So with the archer towers, though, in terms of the air D,
I don't think it really matters because their range is so big. It's 11 squares, I think, is their range. 10 tiles is what theirs. And there's 6 of them.
When you originally said wizard towers, I thought you meant archer towers. And then I was going, holy shit, we've got to really move stuff around. And then I can, okay. I'm drawing diagrams right now.
I can hear the sketch pad working over there right now.
I'm going, okay, wait, because I had a big A in the middle of it. So what else do you look for? What's like basic giveaways? What tips could you give to people? Like that you think that, like, what are some basic things that you think early players, Town Hall 7s, Town Hall 8s, Town Hall 9s?
Well, if they're getting into wars, I mean, a Town Hall 7, if you can jump straight up to the max level dragon, which is a level 2 dragon at Town Hall 7, and if you can add, if you can get your lightning done to the max level, which I think is a level 4 at Town Hall 7. I'm not on Yeti right now, otherwise I'd be able to tell you.
Yeah, and that's why it's so hard. You
can't remember the levels.
Yeah, you can't remember the levels, and when you're like, there were some questions about TH8 attacks or TH9 attacks and hogs, and I'm like, God, it's been so long since I've been there that I can't really give you advice on it,
Yeah.
To see like the specific things. But okay, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, no. With Town Hall 7, any Town Hall 7 with max dragons at that level, with max lightning, with just those two things, you can 3-star any Town Hall 7 that you come up against, no matter what their base looks like, no matter what they have in their clan castle.
Okay, so if you're a max Town Hall 7,
yep.
And what are the principles of that?
Well, you look at their base, and there's only 2 air defenses at Town Hall 7.
Okay.
So their max level, I think, is level 4. So if you can look at them, determine which one is going to be the hardest one for you to funnel your dragons to, and you lightning that one. Like, when I say lightning, I don't mean, as soon as you get on the screen, you just touch it 3 times and drop it. I mean, leave your icon on the dragons. You zoom in so you don't accidentally drop one of those lightnings off to the side, which everybody has done. And then you zoom in real close. You drop all 3 on the one lightning on the one air defense that you want. You zoom back out and you just funnel your dragons, and it's easy. I mean, it's a walkthrough.
Burn the shit down.
Oh yeah, you burn the whole place. Okay. Leave nothing standing. You honestly wouldn't even need your king with you then. So
well, that's really awesome advice, because like I think all of us have been in that boat where you try to lightning something and it doesn't quite go, but zoom in.
Yeah, exactly. And what I like to do is, whenever I go to attack with Yeti and it's a Town Hall 7, I leave it on the dragon icon, because the dragon cannot be dropped anywhere in the red area. He can only be dropped, the dragon can only be dropped on the outside. So even if you accidentally press your dragon, he's not going to drop anyways.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah. So you zoom all the way in, you drop your 3 lightning, boom, zoom back out, the war started.
Now, how do I stop fucking up as a TH10? No, I'm just kidding.
There's $16,000 I think you could use.
Yeah. All right. So TH8, or do you have more for 7s?
No, that's basically it. I mean, just get up there as fast as you can. Like,
be smart.
Be smart about it. I mean, just constantly keep your.
Well, how do you deal with CC troops at?
You don't. It's dragons.
Brilliant.
You don't even think about them.
Okay.
I mean, I guess your CC should probably hold balloons, and that's about it.
And where do you drop them?
You can put them over the back shoulder of the dragons, to where they're going to aim for the air defense. But what you want is those dragons to start tanking for the air defense.
Okay.
Because the dragons have so much higher hit points than the balloons, and for the air defense, a level 4, it's going to take forever, especially with only one of them, and you've got 10 dragons left. That one little air defense can't do it.
Well, it doesn't have the time.
It doesn't.
Might go to Home Depot tomorrow. Don't know if we're going to have enough time.
Exactly. You stop and get an ice cream. No.
So do you think on those attacks, and I guess maybe I've been giving bad advice, but I always thought putting the clan castle in the TH, the TH in front of the clan castle where the drags go in. But I suppose that doesn't really matter then if you do that strategy.
Not at a 7.
Okay.
At a 7, it just doesn't matter.
All right.
Nothing matters at 7 except for dragons. And I know everybody's like, oh, you got to get your rage. You got to get your rage. Well, I forgot exactly how much more the rage costs elixir-wise, but you don't need the rage. It's almost pointless. You're just wasting that much more elixir. I think it's almost twice as much for a rage spell down there at a 7 that it is for the lightning.
Okay. I'm kind of blown away.
It's cost efficient too, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, because I think about like all the dragon attacks. Well, and we don't really have many 7s anymore. We used to have a lot of 7s. I think a lot of people graduated up to 8. Maybe we keep our trophy count too high. I mean, I don't know, but otherwise, then we get like tons of requests.
We don't get faced off with any Town Hall 7s for the most part. I don't think either. Like
no,
they're not in the opponent's clan.
No, and we've added a few, but do you remember when it was there were more 7s and things like that? I
remember when we had more 8s, and yeah, we had some more 7s early on.
But now it's like I think it's because of the clan perks and the search that if you lower your trophy limit, all of a sudden the chat becomes unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you take it down to a TH7. So I guess you're going to have to like recruit from somebody else or from somewhere else, I guess.
We got plenty of families.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But they all like their place. You know, it's like...
They do.
It's like House of L Jr. that we just started is not 2.0 because it's not a feeder clan.
Yeah, I saw you said that today. And I hope Quaz is enjoying his time out there.
I think so. He apologized to Matt tonight, and
I saw that as well.
Yeah. He said, "Oh, sorry for all the talking." I think he gets it.
He's like, "Shit, kids suck."
Yeah. So let's go to the 8s because you are providing invaluable advice to. I wish I should have had this interview when I was at Town Hall 8.
That was a long time ago. I wasn't ready yet.
I know.
Should have talked to Flamey.
You weren't Yeti yet.
I wasn't Yeti. I was barely Loch Ness.
All right.
Actually, Yeti he's only 4 months old.
Wow.
Yeah, he should be at Town Hall 8 tomorrow.
They grow up so fast, don't they?
They do. They're so cute. They were so much cuter when they were at Town Hall 4.
Until they turn into a wanderless,
he's out there.
Creature.
He's just, he's crazy.
What do you do with him? Just Town Hall 7 attacks?
No, I'm in a little clan that my buddy found. Ran across some folks on the global one time, and just happened to be one of those decent small clans. Their name's Warlock Majesty. They were all super cool. My buddy was like, "Hey, why don't you come over here?" And after I left House of L with Loch Ness, I took him over there. Or maybe I had left and whatever. Somehow I was over there and stayed and chatted with those guys and just hung out. And it was just a 10 or a 15 person clan, and there was, no strings attached. They're all really cool. All really fun, laid back, and we just kind of hang out there. So every now and again, I'll take an account back over there and see if I can help people.
Nice.
Just the same sort of thing.
Every so often, I get drunk and wake up in a different clan.
There you go. Wake up in somebody else's bed.
Yeah. Different clan. I'm like, hey, how did I get elder
Come
over
on.
here?
Somebody got my pants. Somebody got my pants.
What did I do to get elder? So L stories. No, not really. Okay, Town Hall 8. Let's go there.
Town Hall 8. What do we got? Well, you have to start out with dragon attacks because that's all you know from Town Hall 7. So,
What would you upgrade first at Town Hall 8?
If you're in a war clan, you have to get to the dragons. Dragons level 3.
How about defense?
I don't know. Yeah, see, I haven't touched defense for Town Hall 8 in so long, but
because I'm a new Xace is a fresh Town Hall 8. Pretty much. Like, I did it for the drill, and then I quit playing him.
Yeah. Well, what do you want it for? What are you looking to get out of him? Are you wanting him to be part of the war? Is that what he's going to do, or is he just going to hang out?
If he's going to be anywhere near a war, there's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't know what I should max out at Town Hall 8 in terms of offensive troops. There's all this talk about defenseless and upgrading your defenses. Mm-hmm. And I said to Kratos the other day.
Is it Kratos or Kratos?
It's Kratos. He corrected me. Okay, and I think I said Kratos earlier again. But I said, given the queen, given the king, it would not be outside of the realm of possibilities, in my thinking, how radically that changed the game for them to put walls into the mix-up of the war matchup at one point, because they did change the algorithm, or they did change like what you could funnel the elixir into. In gold,
the thing with the walls is like I told you the other day, I was working on that spreadsheet trying to figure out the war ranking, and man, there's a lot of numbers going on. But what happens if you assign any value to the walls, even if it's just the number of the level that they're at now? There's so many of them, especially once you put them all on the map. Like any change that you make to that wall, so if it was worth 10 instead of 5, you've just doubled everything in there. Wow. You just doubled the value of that wall. Or if you go like a level 1 wall, if you took it from 1 and you just said, hey, this is worth 2 now, then you've just, you just doubled everything. So because there's 225 walls at a Town Hall 8 or 250 at Town Hall 9 and 10.
Don't remind me.
Yeah, exactly. So like once you make a change to the wall algorithm part of it, it's a huge spike. So
that makes incredible sense.
Yeah, so they have to be very careful, and that is
how don't they figure that in? How don't they?
That's exactly why I think
so many,
they're doing
this. You'd have to do it by percentage, super percentages.
Right, yeah. I think it'd have to be like a fine tune. And really, in my spreadsheet, they are only worth the value of their level. So, the max you can get at Town Hall 8 is a level 8 wall. So that's what each individual wall section is worth in the algorithm formula, is 8.
Do you have an idea? What's your idea about the war algorithm?
My idea is, just that. Well, I ran this by Boaz. I sent him a line chat the other day, and I started going over because I was listening to him. Who was he? Was he talking to Rigoletto? In their podcast, I think. Yeah. And they were talking about the war algorithm and what it is and all the defensive buildings and what they do and this and that. And what I had seen in one of our wars, I know you remember the war, where we went up against a clan that had totally maxed out Town Hall level 9s with lava walls and level 30 heroes, and it was ridiculous. And all their Town Hall 10s had maxed out heroes. And I was looking at the top 2 Town Hall 9s that they had, and I'm going to get them mixed up, but they both had maxed out level walls. They both had lava walls all the way through. And one of them the top one had lower level heroes than the one below it. So what happened was I was looking at it really hard. I'm like, why are these two so different? Why is this one valued so much more than this one over here? And this one has stronger heroes, but it's below the one that doesn't have the heroes.
Okay.
And I looked at it. The gold mines are upgraded. The elixir pumps are upgraded. I went down to the one just below it. They've got lower level gold mines and elixir pumps, and they had a barracks that was like a level 9 or something. So I think it's not only the defensive buildings involved. It's every building on the map. It's all the walls that are in there. 250 of them. It's all the builder's huts that you have. Because really, if you look at the builder's huts, no matter how little they are, they're only 250 hit points. But they still take an archer so long to destroy it. So it still takes a time value for each one of these buildings. So that all has to be accounted for.
And they're also, like, when you get to 10, and I notice a difference, it's like they're a percentage. Like a building isn't, no matter what it's hit, and this is for, like, not like, people who've played for a long time, but it's the amount of buildings that you have on the map is one building is a certain amount of percentage, not
right.
It's percentage of the map, not the builder hut that takes longer is smaller percentage. It's one building is
right. It's still a building.
Right.
So my theory is that it has everything to do with hit points. Like the hit points that each building actually has. Because was it a couple months ago or a couple updates ago, they changed the army camp. Remember they leveled off the army camps. They used to have like 1,100 hit points, and now they're down to like 370 or something. And they leveled off all the other buildings. So I think they changed it. So there had to have been a reason that they changed it. So I think the hit points for each building have to go into it. So maybe as a percentage-wise, as just a flat percentage-wise.
So what is your thought process on why they would lower the army camp?
I think they were probably valued too high. So like a Town Hall 10, you get the extra level on the army camp. So if you were going to pull the 9.5 that everybody's calling it now, the 9.5 is whenever you want to max your heroes, you want to get the walls, you want to max all your troops, but you don't want to touch any of your defensive buildings. So if you max your army camps, those go up another level, which I don't know what they would jump up to hit point value wise now, but maybe they were skewing the algorithm in Supercell's eyes, beforehand. I don't know. Oh, and let me get back to what I was saying. We were talking about there's so many levels of walls, and there's so many walls. I think that's the same thing with the heroes. So the heroes have 40 levels. There's nothing else in the game there's nothing in the game that has 40 levels, period. There's only 2 things that have level 13. So the heroes, to have 40 levels, if you start to give them a certain value at each level, they start to unbalance the whole equation. I mean, I don't know. I think they're not valued as high as people would expect because they have so many levels that they have to go up. So I think it's just like the wall thing. Like once you change it down here, you amplify it as you go.
You're kind of like flipping my mind on it. But it's in a way that I've never thought about it before. It's almost like, well, how would you put the heroes then in? It'd be in parentheses. Between in a math formula.
It is a huge math formula. And that's all it is. That's all it's ever going to be, because there's no other possible way to figure it out. You cannot take somebody's base and say this base is better than this guy, so I'm going to give this guy 10 points and this guy's going to be 8 points. That's impossible, because at any moment the number 8 guy or whatever could change his base to the exact same way that the number 10 guy was, and now you got 2 number 10s. Then what do you do? So
I've been listening to like Soaz and the other podcasts. Rigoletto.
Great bunch of guys.
Yeah, Soaz, you're in Soaz, and that was a fun war. It really reminded me of L. Like, I mean, it reminded me of Minnesota Nice. Like, it was like a great bunch of guys.
Yeah. It's because it's all 57 accounts that they've got over there are just 3 guys.
You know what? And then I listened farther on, and I'm like, you know what? I talked to a few of them thinking they were completely different people.
Yeah, and they're not.
No.
They're still the same guy. And poor Swag over there has no idea who anybody is.
Well, and neither did I. And now that I was listening to it, I'm like, oh shit. Because they might say Eric, but then like Eric is spelled A-E-R-I.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, oh man, I got into a bunch of conversations with the same people. You know, listening like to everybody talk about that, and my kind of train of thought derailed a little bit, but in terms of defenseless accounts, you know, we've heard a lot about that. Do you think? I guess how I'm.
You're right there. I can tell.
The algorithms and things have changed. The heroes have changed. Do you think that Supercell will adapt to change the fighting back against the war algorithm? And I guess here's the thing. I think this is where I was starting. I decided like in the last few weeks, like I've been listening to everybody, and I was like, well, what should I upgrade? And I've been working on my walls, but on my walls only in terms of I'll keep one resource really low, and I almost started feeling guilty about upgrading my defenses. But my troops are like maxed out, you know, and
you're ready to go.
And I'm only going for Dark Elixir right now.
That's a good plan.
But I'm also like, let my gold creep up, and then I'll put it into a cannon. Do you think that down the road I'm going to be screwed by doing that? I don't think L can get any tougher matchups, quite frankly.
No, you at your level, no, you're fine. And I think you're talking about what RJ had said about once you get to a certain level, just stop. Put your builders, just let them sleep, and just work on, like, you need to work on your troops. And I think it's a terrific point, because not only do you need to work on it and stop hindering, like every time you upgrade your defense, you know, it adds to the war algorithm. So you're adding you're adding something else to that situation. And if you cannot use your troops well enough to balance what you're adding, you know, like he said, it's a great idea to just stop and just work on the walls. Put whatever gold you're making off of raiding into walls, and then put whatever elixir you can into any troop, and just learn how to drive them. Like you got this brand new Porsche, and you know you drive it around like a grandma. You got to learn how to drive the thing.
Hey everybody, sorry to cut it off so abruptly here, but when we were recording this, we had a little bit of tech error, so we went on to do another episode, which will be coming up. So thanks to Sasquatch for being here. Great advice that he gave. A little announcement too. The Zod versus Soaz war was an amazingly fun time, and ended up twitching it for. Oh man, it was hours and hours last night. My voice is a little rough still from all that talking. And so we're going to do a couple different things. It's the Twitch channel. It should be Clash of Clans podcast, but the username is WBSMT Radio. I think the stuff is up now if you want to go back and watch some of that. And then we did after the war kind of Twitch thing that I will just put up the audio for. It was really cool. We got joined by Botox, Boaz, Nat, Bryce, or more commonly known, Nat's husband. Just kidding, Bryce. And Brock. So it was a really, really fun time. Great war. Zod pulled out in the end to win by just a couple points. It was really, really good war. Great attacks in that war. And so if you want to watch some of those attacks and see some of those bases, you can go to Twitch and check them out. It was, oh man, that was a fun time last night. So get a hold of us at WBSMT Radio, clashcleansepodcast@gmail.com. Always clashcleansepodcast.com. You can go there. If you want to help support the podcast, there is an Amazon banner link. If you go to that, before you go shop Amazon, and just do a search through there and go to Amazon from our page. Basically, you pay the same that you would pay. It's the link, and then we get a little percentage of whatever you purchase. So help support the podcast that way. It doesn't cost you anything. Just a quick little stop on your way to the Amazon store. So, thanks again, Sasquatch. Some more great stuff coming up now that we got the Twitch up and running. I'm really excited to kind of see where that goes. Thanks to Soaz and everybody. There's some really cool stuff coming up in the next week. So keep it clashy, everybody. Skilly beep beep beep.